Well, today I got some time. I got some daylight. There's no rain, so I'm gonna do my photo walk, my very local history photo walk that I talked about doing a couple months ago. Welcome back to Stormin Norman Says. I'm Stormin Norman. That must mean I have something to say. I got the Canon 6D. I got the Osmo Action 3. We're going to walk around the yard. I'm going to give you my personal history. Although this yard looks a lot different than it used to when I was a kid. But we'll take a trip down memory lane. And it's kind of silly to even do this, but that's kind of the whole reason I'm doing it. So let's get started. So I'm really not sure what all you guys can see because I got the camera on my chest here. And also I don't know how to turn on the live view on the back of the camera. I've been trying to figure that out. But optical viewfinder, I'll put the picture up after I take it. And we got, like I said, the Canon 6D 28 to 105 millimeter EF. This is the lens that came on the 5D I bought that was broken. Let's start here. This, you see we got bananas. I don't know if y'all can see that. We got bananas up there, I'm assuming. But this is where the washing machine lets out. By the way, y'all gonna get some redneck stuff in this video, alright? But this is where the washing machine lets out. That's why it's so growed up, and that's why these elephant ears and banana trees can grow here, because it's wet here all the time. Let that be a pro tip to you. If you're trying to plant these in your yard, you better plant them where there's plenty of water. It causes all that stuff to grow. But I cut my foot in here one time when I was a kid because it used to not look like this. It used to not be all growed up like this. It was a lot. Actually, my dad actually used to mow this back in the day before my mom put the banana trees here. But I would run up. It's just right here behind those is where all the water is for the washing machine. I'd run up and I would just jump up and splash in it. And I did that one day, and there was like a piece of glass or something, or like the lid off of a tin can was in there or something, and it cut my foot wide open. That was fun times, I'm telling you. And there used to be this tree right here, a mimosa tree. There used to be a sweet gum tree there, but my dad cut it down because he was worried it was going to fall over the house whenever we had a hurricane or something of that nature. But let's see what kind of picture I can get. See if I can get the both trees. See if I can get like a close-up of the bananas. Alright, I guess we'll make our way this way. So if you look back there, if y'all can see, that shed that's sitting next to my dad's little truck there used to sit right here. So when I was a kid, this was my playhouse. Of course it's back there now, but it used to be over here. And I remember coming out of the house one day and I was going to the store. I used to go shopping every Saturday, hit up Goodwill, see what I could find at Goodwill, stuff like that. And my dad was digging around the blocks, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to move this shed so I can put your mom a swing here. So I spent the whole day helping him move that shed back there. And then he put my mom a swing here, and she never sat in it one single time. In fact, there's not even a swing there now because it rotted and fell apart and they took it down. Mama wants to swing there. She ain't never swinging that thing one single time. But Yeah, there's a branch there that probably somebody needs to do something with that. Let's see what I can do here. Let me get back a little further. Now the garage is only about 3 or 4 years old. It's only been here about 3 or 4 years. My dad had that built like a month after I moved back in here. Me and my ex-wife, whatever you want to call her, when we moved back in here, that went up like a month later. So that wasn't always there. What used to be there, about where that igloo cooler is, if y'all can see that, was my old basketball hoop. And I had that thing since I was like 13. And it was still there when he pulled it up to put this thing in here. But that thing was rusted and beat all to pieces, but had a lot of good times with that old basketball hoop. I'll probably show it to you because I think it's in the back corner there. It's my dad's wood splitter, my dad's extra trailers. Not a whole lot to say about this back here. I didn't really come back here much. I got this tree, this what is this called, a century plant. I got when I worked at the golf course. Somebody had dug it up and threw it in the woods, so I just took it home and planted it here. Now, this is a very painful plant if y'all don't know anything about them. They got sharp points. That's why I put it back here so the kids wouldn't get into it. And apparently it's having a bunch of babies. But nothing much going on back here. My dad's trailer for his lawn business. The one he just bought. That's his trailer that he used to have. I don't know why he bought another one, but he did. That is my grill that my wife bought me when we were dating for my birthday. It ain't too eat up with rust yet. There ain't no telling what's living inside that thing. But this, my dad, well, this is the second one he built. We had a manger when I was a kid. When we put the decorations for Christmas out front, my dad had a manger scene, and he built that little thing to put the manger. Of course, it got destroyed by a hurricane, so he built that one. And I actually had that one at my house when me and my wife lived down the street. Let's see what I can do here. See if I can get a picture with that birdhouse. Dang branch messed up my focus. And that was the pen. It was up on legs. It was a chicken coop on legs, and that's where we raised the baby chickens at until they got big enough to go in the big coop. And a hurricane blew it over the fence and into the neighbor's yard there, and we just left it. Like I said, this was my shed that I played in when I was a kid. It was a starship at one time whenever I was a teenager and I really got into Star Trek. There's a bunch of junk in there. But there's a little Starfleet emblem right there from where me and my best friend used to play in here when I was a kid. Had a different door on it back then. I think it just had a sheet of plywood for a door back then. Let me, I got an idea for this one. Let me switch it to black and white. We'll take one in black and white. We'll take one in regular because I like the way the light is coming up over the roof there. There we go. This is my dad's wood shed. When this shed was over there where I showed y'all originally, my dad had me a little wood shed built next to it, but it eventually rotted and fell apart. So he built him another one over here, and that's like one of my dad's side gigs he does. Is somebody cuts down a tree, he goes and gets the wood, brings it home, splits it, stacks it, and then when wintertime comes, I don't think he sells it. I'm not sure if he sells it or not, but people call, I need some firewood, and he hooks them up with some firewood. And then he built an extension onto it. I think last year he built this extension onto it, and as y'all can see, there was a pine tree here at one time. My basketball goal's over here somewhere. That's my bike I bought after Tanya left. I had this idea that I was going to get into biking and be fit and healthy, and I might have rode it like one time, and now it's sitting back here. I even replaced the seat on it to make it more comfortable, and it's just sitting back here, never getting used. Here's the chickens that Stella hasn't killed yet. We've had to put boards up over there and down there from where Stella rips the fencing off to get to them. But she usually don't mess with them. It's just sometimes she gets a wild hair and just wants to attack chickens for some reason. Some more firewood storage back here. One topper off one of my trucks I had before. This is all my uncle's stuff over there. This is the shed my dad got from my brother-in-law's parents when they were moving. They couldn't take it with them, so we got it here. It was just this part, but then my dad added on this part so he can put apparently his other wood splitter. Didn't know he had two of them. This old tree right here, this thing ain't long for living, that's for sure. Looks like it's been struck by lightning or something. It's not been, but every time we get a hurricane or something, it tears it up. This was my dad's shed before he got the garage built. This is where he used to build his bird houses and stuff like that, work on his lawnmower. But this thing's getting kind of rotten too. That's why he got the garage built, because he wasn't sure how much longer this thing was going to make it. But I did a lot of work in here too. See if I had an idea when I was first getting into trucks. Y'all probably can't see it, but my logo from my shop is on there. Let's see if I can get something. No, there ain't enough light for me to get a picture. There we go. but it was called Killer Customs. Me and my sister's boyfriend at the time had this idea that we was going to build custom trucks out here. Yep, young and dumb. Y'all probably know about them. My trucks. I don't know how Coco got out here. Did I not shut the door, Coke? Had to start those up and move them earlier when my dad was mowing. Now after I showed y'all the shed that used to be my playhouse when I was a kid. Well, my dad had taken the back porch off of the trailer here, because this is a single wide trailer if y'all don't know. My dad just added on to it and made it into a house. But before that, he had to take the back porch off. So he took the back porch off and moved it out there. So it was sitting out there, and that was my playhouse, my Starship Enterprise, if you want. After the fact, and there used to be a fence running through here, and we had cows out there. I had to come home every day after school and feed the cows. And I thought that I was a goth kid in high school, so I was always wearing black baggy pants and combat boots and come home and get cow feed all over me when I was feeding the cows. But my dad tore that down because it was garbage. But me and my buddy, like I said, the fence was running about right through here, and we had a extension cord. There was an outlet somewhere right in here. We plugged the extension cord in and buried the extension cord all the way out there so we could have power. This is the pump house my dad just built last year, I want to say. He's pretty proud of that thing. There's the burn pile. There used to be some pine trees out there that have been cut down whenever my uncle moved in over here. And driveway used to have, and I'll touch on this a little more when we get to the end of the driveway, used to be pine trees going all the way down this side, and there might have been a few on this side too, but they were like, there was a disease that got most of the pine trees. We'll talk about it in a minute. My mom decided to plant crepe myrtles with azaleas in between, but a lot of the azaleas didn't make it and they died. So I think I'm gonna get one of these in black and white as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're on tour, Stella. We're on tour. So as y'all see, that's the only pine tree that survived. And there used to be one on this side. And there used to be about, I don't know, half a dozen going out by the road. Because when my dad bought this place, I don't know if he planted them or if they were already there. But technically that's county property, so you shouldn't really be planting stuff out there. And then we had a tornado, and it blew the ones that were, most of them had already died of the virus, but the ones that hadn't died were down there at the end, and the tornado came through and just pushed them over into the yard, so that was the end of them. This cedar tree right here has been here my whole life, as far as I know. My dad actually, I think, planted that when I was a little bitty kid. Can we get a picture of the cedar tree, Stella? Let's see if we can get a picture of it. My mom added these bottle brushes to the fence where Stella likes to dig out. This is one of the first azalea bushes I think my mom planted in the yard. And then a little oak tree sprouted up in the middle of it, and they just kept it there. This palm tree's been here forever as well, my whole life as far as I can remember back. And then there's the flagpole. How this thing is still standing, I have no idea. My dad installed this during Desert Storm. In fact, you can't see it, but down at the bottom of the flagpole is the concrete holding it in the ground, and he's got 1991, because that was the year we put it in during Desert Storm. And I've replaced the rope, I've replaced the pulley at the top, and it leans, but somehow that daggum thing is still standing there. How long ago was 91? Like 30 years ago? No, like 35 years ago. So it's been there for a hot minute. I forgot to mention when those pine trees were out there. Me and my sisters used to go out there and play, and we would use a rake. We'd play house, and since there ain't nothing to make a house out of, I would just rake out the floor plan with the pine needles. Of course, there's a lot more pine needles on the ground than there is now, but we would all through here, from here all the way to the tree overhang over there, I would rake out a floor plan. Like, here's a bedroom and here's a hallway, and we would play house out here. And there was also fence. We didn't have a gate here back then. We had a fence that actually it was back further. It was like over here. Yeah, it was about the corner of the house there almost. The fence came through here. And then when you got up there to about where that first azalea was, it went back to the other fence, and there was a gate there. So we all parked here. Of course, that was back before me and my sisters all had cars. Once we all had cars, we parked around back because there wasn't no room up here for us. Well, I reckon that about does it. There ain't much else around here to show you, as far as I know. No fun stories I can think of. It's my dad's orange tree. Planted that I don't know, five years ago, I want to say, but it was probably more like 10, to be honest. That's how time is, You look at something and be like, oh, we just put that in the other day. And then all of a sudden you're like, it's been there for 10 years. I was actually just at my grandma's house helping her get her old couch out because she got a new one. And that thing was heavy. And it was big. And it was ridiculous. And she's like, I don't know how long I had this thing, but that was made back before, they come apart now. But I got to looking at the label on it. It was from 1998. I'm like, this couch is 27 years old. Like I was still in high school when you got this couch. But like I said, that's about it. Not much else to talk about. Showed y'all all the highlights. There's probably plenty of other good stories I could have told you, like over there by the chicken coops. I believe is where I buried a pair of combat boots. Because my grandpa got me a pair of combat boots when I was 12, I want to say, and they were actually too big for me when he got them. But I wore those things probably till I was in my early 20s. Those were just the best boots I ever had. So when they finally blew apart, and I honestly, looking back on it, I probably should have just went and took them and got them repaired. I didn't even think about it at the time. But when they finally blew apart, I buried them, gave them proper burial over there in the backyard. So yeah, hopefully my tour was a little bit humorous at least. Hopefully it didn't bore you to death, but it was a fun idea, to me at least. So appreciate you watching if you made it this far. And I got some stuff in the mail to do a review on, but I figured, I need to get this because time changes in 2 weeks, I want to say. So my time to get this done before it's dark at like 5:30 is drawing short. So I was like, I better go ahead and knock this out. So Thursday's video will be a review of something I got, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all will be interested in it. So stay tuned for that, and I got some other stuff to review coming up in the future. So appreciate y'all watching, and I've been Stormin' Norman. I've said things. I'll see you in the next one.